1,000. That's right, Ukraine was able to retake 1,000 square kilometers and liberate 30 settlements in just 1 week of its counteroffensive in the east. One of the major cities, Kupiansk, is now already liberated, and the next extremely important battle for Izyum has started less than an hour ago. As a result, Russia right now is very vulnerable, which might be a perfect time to finish it. But more about all of this in a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's go straight to the point and talk about the mind-blowing counteroffensive of Ukraine in the east. First of all, as you can see from this video, this is the abandoned and destroyed military vehicles of Russians who wanted to escape Balaklia. Then we go a little bit to the north to Volkhiv Yar, and as you can see from this video, this small town is now also liberated. Then we go to Chkalovsk, and as you can see from this picture, this settlement has been liberated as well. Going to the east, we can see a photo of Ukrainian soldiers standing next to the entrance to the city of Shevchenkove. And finally, going even more to the east, we can see a picture of Ukrainians standing to the entrance of the city of Kupiansk. And just so that you can fully appreciate the counteroffensive efforts of Ukrainians in the last 3-4 days, here are the changes of the map of the war in this time period. But wait, there is definitely more. Just like I was mentioning in my previous couple of videos, the importance of capturing Kupiansk and advancing past it is that it will allow Ukrainians to split the Russian army in two. And besides making it way easier for Ukrainians to liberate Kharkiv region, they will also gain the momentum to liberate everything around Izyum. And this is exactly what is happening right now. First of all, some reports claim that there are already several Ukrainian soldiers in this small town of Grahovatka. In addition to that, individual Ukrainian groups were spotted in Oskil. And as you can see, the presence of Ukrainians in both these cities, Grahovatka and Oskil, allows them to attack the city of Izyum from the east and northeast. And this is already in addition to those Ukrainians who are coming from the north. But then we also cannot forget that just a couple of weeks ago, Ukraine had success to the south of Izyum. And well, I guess whatever I drew here is already pretty self-explanatory. Then those Russians who remain in this area are basically going to be surrounded. And even though the battle for Izyum has only started less than an hour ago, we have pictures like this which confirm that some individual Ukrainians are already inside the city. And right now I will tell you what Russians both in Kupiansk and Izyum are doing, and while I'm going there, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like this style of daily updating. Alright, so if you remember from yesterday's episode, Russian infiltrators announced the mass evacuation of civilians from Kupiansk. But in reality, the only ones who evacuated from Kupiansk to Vovchansk were the Russian infiltrators themselves. We even have this video from Kupiansk where they tried to flee. And even though Russian collaborators said that they will evacuate women and children first, to be honest, it does not look like that there are any women or children in this car. And today, the similar mass evacuation of civilians was announced in Izyum. And to be honest, I guess pretty much the same will happen. But besides the Russian infiltrators, Russian soldiers are also trying to run away. And there are even several reports about Russian troops disguising themselves as civilians and deserting the army. And obviously the very last thing they think about while running for their lives is how to save Russian military equipment. Because as you can see from this video, they even abandon the tanks, which obviously becomes in immediate possession of Ukrainians. We even have this video of Russians bringing even more military vehicles to Kharkiv region, but to be honest, I think this is just the future presence for Ukrainians. And finally, before I talk about the response of Russians against the city of Kharkiv itself, here's just one last quick video from Kharkiv region. And as you can see right here, this is the way local residents are meeting their real liberators. And yeah, today I have so many pictures and videos across entire Ukraine, and obviously I was not able to use it all, but if you want to see it, feel free to check my Patreon. All the proceeds will be donated to Ukraine, and you can find all the useful links down below. Alright, and here is the response by Russians. As you can see from this video, there was a missile attack against Chernihiv. Then we go to the city of Kharkov itself. And as you can see from this video, basically the entire city center was randomly shelled. And among destroyed civilian objects, there is a fitness club, supermarkets, residential buildings, and a school. The majority of these attacks came from Belgrade, but as you can see right here, not every Russian missile was able to leave the city. And in addition to that, Russian air defense system intercepted several missiles. Alright, and before I talk about Ukrainians destroying $57 million piece of equipment of Russians, here are just a couple of videos from Donetsk. First of all, as you can see right here, there was several explosions inside the city. But the Russian reporters turned on their cameras in perfect time to record these explosions and blame Ukrainians. And then we have this video of Russian soldiers who are mobilized from Donetsk and they're basically protesting. What they basically say is that they were literally taken from the streets, and without any medical examinations or anything like this, they were given the weapons and ordered to fight against Ukrainians. And so, I mean, yeah, their resistance is quite understandable. Okay, and now let's talk about this very expensive loss of Russians. So, if you remember from yesterday's episode, this video came to us from Vasilievka. And at that time, there was no clear information what exactly exploded. But today we have this image which shows that Ukrainian army was able to destroy a Russian electronic warfare system Moskva-1. And yes, the price tag of this military equipment is approximately $57 million. And Russia used to have only 9 of them. I mean 8. And before we wrap it out and go to ridiculous Russian propaganda, here is one last quick video from the south and a quick summary. And as you can see from this video, which came to us from Belgorod, Ukrainians were also able to liberate this town. Alright, the conclusion of the week. According to the director of the CIA, William Burns, this invasion of Russia into Ukraine is a complete failure. Russia was able to achieve something only in the beginning of the war, just because of the element of surprise. And then, as soon as Ukrainians got themselves together, basically nothing else happened. But what's even more is that in just 6 months, Ukraine was able to start a very successful counteroffensive. And one of the main reasons for this, it is because Putin severely underestimated the bravery and the morale of Ukrainian forces. Then we also have this statement from Alexei Arestovich, who is saying that Ukraine needs to have the third front as soon as possible. So right now, 2 main counteroffensive of Ukrainians are obviously happening in Kherson and in Kharkov regions, which allows me to assume that in case Ukrainians indeed open the third direction, this might happen against Melitopol. Because as for now, this is one of the least protected temporary occupied territory. The reason why Ukraine needs a third direction, according to Alexei Arestovich, it is because right now there is a total chaos in Russian army, and Ukrainians attacking somewhere else will basically collapse the decision makers in Russia. And all this brings me to my final point, is that potentially we might see a major change very soon, or even in the best case scenario, the end of war. Because Russia right now is extremely vulnerable, and the Western countries see it as well. And that is why right now is absolutely the perfect time to increase their military support to Ukraine so that they can end it all. And yeah, whenever the press secretary of Russia, Dmitry Peskov, was asked to give some comments about Ukraine's counteroffensive, he said, "I don't know anything, please talk to the Ministry of Defense. I don't have any answers." Welcome to another episode of ridiculous Russian propaganda, and today we have this video of a Russian garbage truck with Z symbols, which was righteously vandalized with yellow and blue paint. And I mean, yeah, what an irony to put Z markings on a garbage truck. But okay, the guy was just peacefully doing his job collecting trash when suddenly, and most likely a Ukrainian Nazi, denazified his military vehicle. This happened in one of Russian small towns, and it immediately gave the excuse to Russian propagandists why they should continue the liberation of Ukraine. And now I want to personally say thank you to Vic M, Joshua Eriksson and Everett for becoming my most recent channel members. And if you want to support my work and unlock some benefits, please consider becoming my channel member as well. And yeah, if you want to see the full video of this garbage truck denazification, feel free to join my Discord. Yes, it's completely free. Thank you so much for your attention, stay safe and see you on Monday.